I feel so awkward. I need my emotional support hedgehog. I'm just feeling awkward today because my boyfriend's home. He's currently in the other room playing D&D and he can't hear me. He's on call with his friends. He's not paying attention to me. But I still feel very perceived. We are currently having a heat wave and it's so hot that my glasses are fogging. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but my glasses are actually fogging up. That's how hot it is in here. So, anyway, hey friend. I'm currently in the middle of writing something that's very heavy and sort of emotionally draining, so I just need like a light, fun, cozy distraction, so that's what this is. So today we're tier ranking all the books I read in 2024, but using Sabrina Carpenter lyrics, just because I thought it would be a funny thing to do. So, okay, so let me first go over the tiers and explain what they all mean. So top tier, we have Why Not Uponeth Me, which means like, you should be in my hands right now. Why are you not on my body, you know? Cry Because It's Over, that one's self-explanatory, I feel. Just means I was sad when this book ended and I wish there was more book. It Could Be Love. It's like, this book had all the elements to be a book I love, but something was missing. I guess so. It's just like, it was fine. Was it a good book? I guess so, you know? We Were Going Right Then You Took a Left. Again, pretty self-explanatory, I feel. Just a book I was really liking and then it took a turn for the worse. How Survive the Earth So Long is like, how did we even make it this far? How did we get here? How did this book get published? I Choose to Blame Your Mom. Those are for books that I'm gonna blame the author's mom for that one. Then we have Got You Blocked, which I also feel like is pretty self-explanatory. That category is reserved for books that, if that book were a person, I would block them. And sure, they might have some redeemable qualities, but even the worst people do, and that doesn't mean you should unblock them. So, yeah. Those are the tiers. So these are the books we're going through today. I'm not including books I reread last year because those are already going to be top tier books or very good books, because then otherwise why would you reread it, you know? We're starting off pretty strong with Acceptance, which is the third book in the Southern Reach trilogy by Jeff Vandermeer. These are the books that the movie Annihilation is based upon. The first book is Annihilation. Don't watch the movie, just read the books. The books are very good. The movie's like... but Acceptance, it was pretty good. I'm gonna put it in It Could Be Love because the first book in the trilogy, Annihilation, is a perfect book. It is a masterpiece in my opinion. But yeah, Acceptance, all the elements were there, but just not reaching quite the same level as Annihilation, so. Next is Sociopath, which is a memoir. Straight to the top. Why Not Uponeth Me? But also Cry Because It's Over, because I was very sad when there was no more book. I loved this book so much and I really wanted it to keep going. I would, just based on this book, read anything that Patrick Gagney has ever written and ever will write. I'm kind of obsessed with her just from that book, so but yeah, I'm gonna have to put it in top tier because it's incredible. Yeah. Okay, so next is The Writing Retreat. This one is we're gonna put it in I guess so, because like it had some good parts, some mediocre parts, some bad parts, but overall pretty forgettable. I had to look in my notes to even remember what this book was about. So yeah. mediocre. I'm sorry. Indelicacy is another one that I didn't remember anything about this book, and it hasn't been that long since I read it. Also gonna go in I guess so, because it was just fine. Like, it was well written, but I didn't feel like I got anything out of reading it, so it ends up being just fine. It was okay. So Flock is one of those books that I read after hearing about it on Book Talk. I think I confused this book for a different book because I kept waiting for there to be some kind of a supernatural element. I thought the guys were gonna, because it's Flock and there's like all these like raven themes, bird themes and stuff. I thought these guys were gonna be like supernatural somewhere, but they're not. They're just guys. They're just random dudes. Like, they're just regular dudes. So it was around the halfway point of the first book that it dawned on me that, like, I think I'm confusing this for another book. I don't think this is what I thought it was. How would I rate this though? Because, like, it was entertaining, but is it a good book? No. I'm gonna put it in We Were Going Right, Then You Took a Left, just because it ended up being so different than what I thought it was gonna be. Moving on. We have the Mindfuck series. I think these books are really stupid. I'm sorry. People love these books or they hate them, and I think they're very dumb. I wrote in my notes after reading the first book that it's like a vacation for your brain. And it is, like, if that's the kind of book you want to read where just no thoughts, just read. Very simple, very... Like, if I was 14, I probably would have thought the main character was so cool, but now it's just eye roll after eye roll. So, I'm gonna blame Stabby's mom for this one. Then we have A Touch of Jen, which is one of the weirdest books I've ever read. It started pretty bad. It was boring. I was gonna DNF. For some reason I kept reading. It got a lot better. So then I was like, oh, I actually really like this book. So it's more like We Were Going Left, Then You Took a Right. But then it got so weird. It reminds me of the movie The Substance, that it's like we were vibing for a while, but then you took it too far and I am no longer vibing. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in We Were Going Right, Then You Took a Left just for the ending, because what was that? Then we have Adult Drama and Other Essays, which prior to reading that book I had never heard of any of those people before. Caroline Calloway, is that what her name is? And Natalie Beach. They apparently had some very public internet drama. I just don't know anything about any of these people, so I went into it not knowing anything, and I really liked it. It feels a little bit unfinished just because the beginning sort of starts out being one type of book and then it changes into something much more semi-autobiographical. That's a hard word to say. I'm gonna put it in It Could Be Love because I really enjoyed the experience of reading it, and I like Natalie Beach after reading this. Next on our list is my biggest disappointment of 2024. It is Moth Town. This book would have been top tier. This is so We Were Going Right, Then You Took a Left, because Moth Town had all the elements, all the vibes. I was in it. Up until like the last 100 pages or so is when we start going downhill a little bit, and then at first I remember thinking like, yeah, don't love how this is developing, but we can still redeem from here. And then it just got worse and worse and worse, and I was gasping and internally screaming no. And just, Caroline, I will never forgive you for that ending. Just what you did in Mothtown. This could have been an all-time favorite, and now it's a book that I can't even recommend to people unless you want to be angry and heartbroken. So, yeah. No. No. I can't forgive you. Next we have The Honey Witch, which isn't that such a beautiful cover. I have the book, it's in my bedroom on my nightstand, just because it's so pretty to look at. But unfortunately, that's all it is pretty to look at. It's like someone who's gorgeous but has no personality. I'm gonna have to put you in How Survive the Earth So Long, because the fact that this got published, it reads like a second draft, maybe even first draft. This book to me feels formulaic in a very specific way, like the author. I was almost a little bit offended because to me it reads like the kind of book that the author was like, okay, what are the trending keywords right now? And then just put all the trending elements into a book, and it feels like it was written in a couple months and kind of rushed. And I just feel like if this had been done with love and pure intentions, then you would have, like, it could have been amazing. The elements are there because she put in all the trending, like, good elements. So, no. Honey Witch, I'm mad at you. It was just such a letdown. Like, it could have been so good, and it wasn't. So yeah. I am sweating, my glasses are fogging. Okay, next is I Hope This Finds You Well, which this was just fine. I'm gonna put it in I guess so. We had a few laughs, but it was also both too much and too little at times. Just okay overall. Don't really have much to say about it. It had a lot of humor in it, and the humor was very elder millennial, so if you like that humor, if that's for you, then you might love it. But I thought it was a little bit, it seemed almost like meme template at times, like 2012 meme template. I was just picturing the author like looking up old memes and like, oh, I'm totally writing this into the book, you know? Like, it just took me out of the story a little bit. Then we have The Watchers, which I'm gonna say it could be love. It could be love. The movie is really bad. Just do yourself a favor and don't watch the movie, read the book. Parts of this book really, really had me. I remember being like, oh, now it's good. Now it's really getting good, you know? But then, after I had finished it, I still ended up having that feeling of like, something's missing. It needed a little bit more of something. But the elements are there, and yeah, it could be love. The movie, we're not going to talk about. One Dark Window. This is gonna, yeah, cry because it's over. Because I just wanted more. I want to be in this universe. I also read it in the autumn when it was like foggy and misty, and the weather here really matched like the weather and vibe of the book and stuff. It was so immersive. I wanted to be in this universe. I want to be friends with the main character. I really love this universe. I have actually yet to read the second book because I've been sort of saving it for like when the weather is right and when the time is right and stuff. So yeah, that's that. Then we have That's Not My Name, which I'm gonna say I guess so, because I enjoyed it, but it was just, also not my favorite, you know? Like, it was a fun time, and that was that. I don't really have any strong opinions on it either way. It did make me cry at the end though, so. Cleopatra and Frankenstein. I am gonna have to block these people. I'm gonna have to block them because this is a book filled with unlikable characters. I sort of liked Cleo, not always. Hated Frank. Everyone annoyed me. Some parts of the book were, I think, handled kind of poorly by the author. Like, yeah, I see what you were trying to do there, but it's poorly handled. And no. I think I ended up giving it like 2.5 stars or something. But I mean, it's not the worst book, but I just think these people are block worthy. Okay, moving on. We have You Exist Too Much, which I'm gonna say we were going right because I was very intrigued and then it just sort of fell flat for me. I do sort of like it, I just wish it had gone in a little bit of a different direction. Oh, My Darling Dreadful Thing is also going in that category, I think, because I would put it in It Could Be Love because it, like, all the elements are there and I was super excited for this. It was honestly very disappointing because I expected so much more from it. This book really had me up until, I don't know, let's say like a third of the way through, and then it lost me, and it really lost me, and I kept reading just to see where it was going, but I just ended up very disappointed. So yeah. Exciting times, I guess so. It's just kind of one of those contemporary novels that young people often write, like people in their 20s. Characters sort of draining, plots that are things you deal with in your 20s, which none of those things were bad, just not really for me, so it was just fine. It was just okay. Then we have Pests, which I'm gonna have to block you. I'm gonna have to put you and got you blocked. Yeah. This is a nonfiction. It has redeemable qualities, but remember what I said at the start of the video? That is not a reason for someone to get unblocked just because they have some redeeming qualities. And specifically, the redeeming qualities that this book had was the perspectives of the indigenous peoples. Those were the only parts of the book I really liked. I was so intrigued and excited to read this book, and then it ended up being infuriating, offensive. If you are an animal lover and sort of an animal rights person, do not read this book unless you want to be really mad. This whole book is supposed to be about how humans see certain animals as pests and some not, and how that comes to be. Super fascinating concept, right? But the author can't really get past her own biases against these animals that she personally considers pests. Like, she can't see past that. And there's also other people interviewed for the book that she presents their highly offensive opinions with no criticism whatsoever. To me, it was just, honestly, just really offensive and infuriating. So yeah, no to pests. Then we have 2 books by Rachel Harrison. I've read a few things by her before. I loved Cackle, but I think that's the only book of hers I have really loved. The others are like, let's start with The Return. I'm gonna say we were going right, then you took a left, because it could have been so good, but it just wasn't. She really had an opportunity to do something here and she didn't take that opportunity. Then we have Bad Dolls, which is a story collection. How did you survive this long? How did this book get published? Because it's unfinished, in my opinion. The stories are just unfinished. Like, they just go nowhere. I kept having that experience and this is only like 4 stories in the book, I think. It's like you start to get into it and then you start to get like, okay, and then the story just ends. What? What was that, you know? So no, it just feels unfinished to me. A Sorceress Comes to Call. I love T. Kingfisher. I haven't read all her books, but I love her. But this one, like, it was good, but it wasn't incredible. So I think I'm gonna put it in It Could Be Love because, like, the elements are there, but it just isn't. Just certain little things are missing. It's not her best work, in my opinion. She can do better than this. The Drowning Woman. It's either gonna be block or I'm blaming your mom for this one. This book annoyed me. 2024 was the year of me giving a chance to, like, contemporary thrillers and stuff. That's not really a genre I read much. But in 2024 I was like, yeah, let's see what all this fuss is about. And that was a mistake. Should not have done that. So I think I'm gonna have to block you. Because, like, no, actually, I'm gonna say we were going right, because the beginning actually intrigued me. I was confused at some things, but the beginning actually intrigued me. The main character was interesting, but the way this book developed, I have a lot of criticisms. So yeah, we really need some more top tier books, and that's good because here is The Rabbit Hutch. I'm gonna put it in Why Not Upon Me because The Rabbit Hutch was one of the best books I read in 2024, and I would also go as far as saying that it is an all-time favorite. I remember thinking this is art in book form, so I'm gonna trust my past self on that. Oh, we already did. I have doubles of this one accidentally. Yeah, you can't really delete pictures here, so we're just gonna have to ignore that. Incidents Around the House. Block. I'm blocking you, Josh. I hated this book. I didn't even finish it. I tried to finish it. I tried to sort of skim read because I was very intrigued to find out what was going on with other mommy, but I just couldn't get past the kid calling the dad Daddo. You know what, let me actually... Like, what kid do you know that calls their dad not daddy, not dada or anything, but like daddo? No. Wait, I might have actually deleted it from my Kobo because I hated it so much. No, I actually think I deleted it. I was gonna look up how many times the word dado appears in the book. It was like every page or like every other page you had to like keep reading dado. But yeah, I deleted it. Okay, next we have A Certain Hunger, which I'm gonna say It Could Be Love. I really enjoyed the experience of reading this. It had some parts that were very hard to read because the main character is a sociopath and she's written or psychopath, and she's written very accurately, I would say. So sometimes it gets hard to read with her lack of respect for life, especially the parts about animals were pretty hard to read, but it was still... It's a book that really made an impression on me, and during some parts you're rooting for her and then other parts you despise her, and that makes it an interesting reading experience. Hagstone, I'm gonna put that in, It Could Be Love. It's a perfect fit for this tier because it had all the elements for me to love it. I was hooked and in it. Like, this author really had me, but then it didn't, it failed to live up to its potential a little bit, I think. I think it could have been incredible. The potential was there for it to be a favorite even, but it just ended up being like, yeah, it was good, but it had like the world, that the atmosphere was really there, you know. We Used to Live Here. Oh, it's between Cry Because It's Over and It Could Be Love, but I think I'm gonna have to put it in Cry Because It's Over because I loved the experience of reading We Used to Live Here. I know people have very strong opinions on that book and very mixed opinions. Last year I heard it being called the worst book of the year and the best book of the year. I also recently reread it, and on the first read it was a 5-star for me, and now after the second read it's more like a 3.5. Like, all the elements really are there, but I don't think it's long enough. It's not a short book, but I don't think it's long enough. And the ending is very frustrating, and the part that's frustrating is quite long, so you end up being frustrated. Okay, first of all, I checked and the book doesn't really start going until over 100 pages in, so it takes quite a long time to even fully get into the book in the first place. This is not the kind of book that you can read the first 20 pages of and be like, yeah, I don't like it, not for me, because you're missing like key components to what the book actually is, because it gets very, I would sort of compare it to The Staircase in the Woods that I talked about in my last video, only that book is better. But like, We Used to Live Here could have been incredible. It has the potential, but I think upon a second read it felt like 100 pages of the book were missing. And if we had had those 100 pages, it would have been amazing, incredible. So yeah. Crying in H Mart, I guess so. It is a memoir. I feel bad critiquing anyone's memoirs because it's sort of like critiquing their lives in a way, and I don't mean to do that, but it was just, as a book, it had some good parts, it had some not that good parts, it was just sort of okay. It was just okay. So yeah, I guess so. Perfume and Pain. Why are you not on me right now? Anna Dorn. I love her. She has become an auto-buy author for me. I will buy and I will read anything Anna Dorn ever writes. Was Perfume and Pain the first one? Actually, I think maybe it was. I have read everything she's published so far, and I will continue to. Love her. Then we have Iron Flame, which, sadly, how did we get here? I really liked Fourth Wing. I wouldn't say it's like an all-time favorite book or anything, but it was a fun time. I had a fun time with it, but Iron Flame, I honestly didn't even finish. It felt rushed, very rushed actually, and everyone was talking about that, like, why are we getting the sequel suspiciously fast after the first book? It just didn't feel like, no, take another year to write first and polish it, because I will give it another chance at some point, but I just couldn't get into it. Then we have Grey Dog, which is another favorite. Yeah, I'm gonna say Why Not Upon Me, because Grey Dog is incredible. It has all the elements for me to love it, and I did love it. Executed spectacularly. And I was actually very nervous to start reading it, I remember, because I had had so much anxiety lately and was sort of like, is this book gonna be sort of triggering in any way? But no, quite the opposite, actually. I love Grey Dog, and I will read everything that Elliot Gish writes. Then we have In the Company of Witches. I'm gonna say cry because it's over, because this was so cozy. It was just a nice, cozy time. And there are more books in the series. I haven't read them yet. I'm saving them for autumn. But when it was over, I just wanted more book. Then we have Bad Cree, and I'm gonna say It Could Be Love. No. It Could Be Love. Because when I started reading it, I even posted on Instagram, like, when you can just tell a book is gonna be a 5-star, you know? But, and I really thought it would be. It felt like it was going to be a 5-star book, but then it was just missing something. So it didn't quite reach that for me, but I still really liked it, and it had all the elements too. I'm a fan. I'm not a fan. And I'm gonna block you. I'm sorry. Jillian? I'm sorry, but Halle Butler books are not for me. And I think I need to stop reading them. Because I keep giving her chances, and then every book I read I feel like, okay, this is draining and I'm annoyed. I would definitely block these characters if they were real, so I think I'm gonna have to block you, Halle Butler. I'm sorry. We can go ahead and put The New Me in there too, since we're already here, because yeah, same feedback. I think I maybe liked Jillian a little bit more than The New Me, or was it the other way around? To me, they also sort of blend together, even though I read them like 6 months apart. Every Halle Butler story just sort of blends together in my mind into annoying, miserable characters who are responsible for their own misery and yet do nothing to get themselves out of it. And yeah. Then we have the Pisces. I love Melissa Broder, but I'm gonna have to blame her mom for this one. Most of her books hit. This one did not. That's all I'm gonna say. Vacuum in the Dark. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to... Jen Began. Big Swiss was really good. I think we can all agree about that. But her other books, and also honestly Big Swiss, like, you don't write those kinds of books if you don't have any issues, you know? You couldn't. So I'm blaming her mom for that one. I'm sorry. Yoke was... I'm gonna say I guess so, because it was nice, good. I liked it. I'm not gonna put it in It Could Be Love because there's nothing about the particular elements of that story that is like very me or anything. But I really liked it. But that's sort of all I have to say about it. Good, nice, liked it, no other thoughts. Then we have Diavola. Is that how you say it? I don't know. I'm gonna say It Could Be Love because I almost loved this book, but something was missing. But it was good. Eliza Clark Penance. Ooh, I'm gonna say It Could Be Love because it was almost love. Almost love, but it could be love. We have another Eliza Clark here somewhere. Where are you? Boy Parts, there you are. This one was top tier for me. I would also say that Penance is also very good, and it's not really missing. It's not really that it's missing anything. it just doesn't quite reach top tier for me. But Boy Parts did, although there was a part of that too that I remember not liking, but now I don't remember what that was anymore. Also lots of unlikable characters and stuff, but you can't really, like, you can't judge on how likable the characters are, so. The Bridge Kingdom, that was fun. I'm actually gonna say cry because it's over, because The Bridge Kingdom is also a good example of true YA, in my opinion, like what YA books are supposed to be. Just like fun fantasy with like decent, like good but not overly deep world building, not too heavy on the politics or anything, just kind of fun. And I really like the characters in this one. I haven't read any of the other books in this series yet, but I think I will at some point. I feel like The Bridge Kingdom is good for like when you've been reading a lot of very heavy, depressing things maybe, and you just need something that's a little bit like the kind of world that you would get completely immersed in your teenage bedroom, like that kind of feeling. Like if I had read The Bridge Kingdom as a teenager, I would have been like, that's why I like ACOTAR, for example, because it just has those vibes to me. It's like my younger self would have loved this so much. And I love it as an adult too, but it's just different, you know? Then we have My Husband, and I think I'm gonna put it in... no, am I actually? Yeah, I'm gonna put it in We Were Going Right, because I was very intrigued by this book. Could have been amazing, I think, but reading this book gave me the same experience as when I first... I've actually never read the book, but when I first watched the movie Gone Girl, because it's like you're rooting for her. Like, yeah, she's a villain character, or like not a very likable character, but it's like you're rooting for the female main character, and you're like, yes, go be unhinged and do whatever you want. Like, go gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, you know? But it just ended up disappointing me. So yeah, that is My Husband. I Want You More. How did we get here? No. I would say the first maybe 20% of this book was ready to be published material, and the rest of it is second draft territory. It just seemed unfinished, kind of sloppy. The main character loses all personality all of a sudden. She seems like a normal, strong character, and then it's like, oh, where did my personality go all of a sudden? Very strange reading experience. It completely took me out of it. But yeah, unfinished in my opinion. Bloom. Yeah, top tier, top tier, top tier. Why are you not on my body right now? Why are you not in my hands right now? I also actually think that Bloom was the perfect length. So I wouldn't put it in Cry Because It's Over necessarily, because I didn't really want more book. I think it was... Sorry if you can hear me like clicking my nails together all the time. Bloom was a perfect book. That's all I'm gonna say. Last Tale of the Flower Bride. Yeah, also a perfect candidate for this tier, because I am so mad. I'm not quite as mad about this book as I am about Mothtown, but I have similar critiques. Like, you had me. This could have been an all-time favorite books. I just feel like I defended you and you betrayed me, you know? No. Berlin, I guess so. It was fine. It was just okay. Nestlings, I DNF'd at around maybe like 2/3 in or so. I think is when I was getting close to the end, but I was just like, ugh, I don't care. I can't do it. I just didn't think it was good. And that sucks, because Mary is one of my all-time favorite books. I will defend Mary until the day I die, but Nestlings was just... I'm sorry, but like, for this to be a good book, in my opinion, which my opinion does not matter at all, this is just for fun. My opinion is not important, but like, this would need a complete rewrite in my opinion. So I'm gonna block Mislings, I'm sorry. My Sister the Serial Killer. I loved this one. Loved it. Love. Then we have Nobody, Somebody, Anybody. I think that's what it's called. I can't read it from here. It was fine. It had some good moments. Like pretty good. Fine. But yeah. No strong opinions about that one. All Night Pharmacy. I'm gonna blame your mom for this one because this entire family needs therapy. I don't like these people. I don't like the story. It was kind of annoying. Worry is another one that, yeah, is just the same category to me because every character in this book needs therapy alone and also family therapy together as a unit, and I don't even know if that would be enough because we have just gotten off on like such a wrong foot that it's like not even redeemable at this point. So yeah, no to that. The Unmaking of June Farrow. This is going in Cry Because It's Over because I loved this universe, the atmosphere, the characters. I read it in the summer and it's such a summertime book. It just, I think this is a top tier book anyway, but just like even better with that kind of atmosphere. But yeah, I loved this universe. I really like Adrienne Young's writing. I haven't read all her books, but I tend to really like her. Don't we also have, yeah, Fable is also Adrienne Young, that's what I thought. I think Fable is also gonna have to be Cry Because It's Over because Fable, the universe, she creates worlds that I want to be immersed in. I want to be part of these worlds. Yeah. The Husbands. That was actually surprisingly fun. Dare I say top tier, actually? No, you know what? We're gonna say Cry Because It's Over because I actually remember being really sad that there was no more book. That's like, oh, I love that. And now it's over, you know? Wasn't expecting really anything from it, but it really surprised me with how funny and good it was. So yeah. The Center. I'm gonna say We Were Going Right because no. It started off really good. I really liked this book, but then when I was done reading it, I was just left with kind of like a, you know? I was just left feeling a little bit like, okay, so that was it? I mean, it's not as dramatic as some of the others in this tier, but it just, like, it had something going for it, and I don't think it lived up to its potential. Yeah, I think it's at home in that tier. Then we have Night Bitch, which I'm gonna have to say I guess so, because I got something out of this book. I liked it, but I didn't love it. And it had some parts that felt kind of problematic and uncomfortable to read, which I'm good at reading uncomfortable things, so it's not just about it being uncomfortable, it's just, I don't know. Liked it, didn't love it. I feel like I'm getting heat stroke. Where should I put you? Private Rights. This is a hard one. I love Julia Armfield after Our Wives Under the Sea. She became like an auto-buy author for me, and I got Private Rights pretty much right when it released and started reading it right away, and it took me months to get through, and which sucks because I loved parts of it. I'm gonna say we were going right, then you took a left, because we got off to such a good start, and then it just dragged on and was so hard to get through, and I didn't even finish this book because I just couldn't do it. I want to come back to it at some point because I feel like I owe it to Julia Armfield to finish the book, but yeah, sorry. The Hoarder I really liked, and I'm gonna put it in Cry Because It's Over actually, because I really liked that one. And after reading that, I tried reading one of Jess Kidd's other books, hoping that it was sort of more of the same kind of writing, but I can't remember what book by her I started on, but that was so different in the way it was written that it just didn't hit the same, and it disappointed me. So yeah, but The Hoarder, really liked that one. My Throat, An Open Grave. I'm gonna say I guess so, because it was good. It was fine. Not great. Not bad. Yeah. Listen for the Lie, I might have to block though. Yeah, I think I'm gonna block you because, like, you have some redeemable qualities. You, the book, that I'm talking to as if they're a person. You have a few redeemable qualities. Like, Podcaster Guy was pretty nice. Grandma was pretty cool. But, like, this book to me was just such a classic contemporary thriller. And I mean, like, the 2020s type of thrillers that people are writing nowadays, that I feel like the only people who love these books are people who are on vacation. Like, you're on the beach or you're at a cabin or something, and you're also hanging out with your family and your friends, and you're not really paying attention that hard to the book, and maybe people who also aren't big readers to begin with, I feel like, is kind of a key part of the demographic here for books like The Drowning Woman and Listen for the Lie, and could also say the same about First Lie Wins. I'm actually gonna put that in the same category because they're just the same to me. Like, yes, they're different stories, but those kinds of books are just not for me, and I don't know why I keep giving them chances. Then we have The Nature of Witches. I'm gonna say It Could Be Love because all the elements are definitely there. It was lacking something for me. Rachel Griffin's books are also just so far, all the elements are there for me to love them, but I just haven't yet. Okay, Salt and Broom. I'm gonna say It Could Be Love. It was very good. I really liked it. Salt and Broom to me I would put in the same category as something like Cackle and In the Company of Witches. Very cozy, like, witchy stories for autumn, and to me they are 5-star books for what they are. Like, if you don't compare them to anything, then it's a really good book. But is it, like, objectively 5 stars? No, but but is it very enjoyable? Yes. And then we're on to our last two, because this one was just a duplicate. Dear Life, Alice Munro. I think I'm gonna have to block you. It's the first book I've read by Alice Munro, and it will sadly be the last. It was just really not for me, and it disappointed me so much because I really thought it was going to be for me. I remember being so excited when I started reading it, and then I got 2 chapters in and I was like, no. I could just tell that it is not for me. Like, the writing, the stories, nothing about it hit for me, and it was very disappointing, and I sadly don't have any good things to say about it. So yeah. Toil and Trouble is a story collection, which, ooh, I'm gonna have to say how Survive the Earth so long, because how did this get published? I really hated that. I thought it was gonna be so good, but then after the first story, I was mad. I was so annoyed. The first story left me so annoyed and I could not get past it. Not for me, and I would not recommend it to anyone, honestly. Okay, so there we have it. Those are all my tier rankings. This is every book I read in 2024. I included some DNFs, but not all, because I have some more in progress and DNF'd books that I just really didn't have any opinion on whatsoever, so it didn't really feel right to include those. I also didn't include any rereads in this, so these are just books I read in 2024 for the first time. So yeah, there we have it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you had fun. I'm very sweaty and need a shower now. It's so hot. I've also had the window closed so I wouldn't get like noise from outside or anything, and it's so hot in this room right now. Whew. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!